Hey guys, it's Seeking Tiki, and we're back for Key West Part 2, but Florida Keys Part 3.
Woohoo! It was a beautiful week. So a lot of these shots I got were simply walking from Leo's campground over to Starbucks. And it's all within walking distance of Leo's. So if you do happen to stay there or nearby, it's just everywhere in the in Florida Keys is beautiful. So I got a lot of really cool shots.
And right now we're going to Louie's backyard, which was on the other side, I want to say the eastern side of Key West, right on the beach. And we actually noticed it because one of our favorite places in South Padre Island is also called Louie's backyard. Yeah, and we had conch fritters, which Sarah had never had actually.
If you've never tried it, the Keys is a good place to try it, and it was delicious, for the record.
Yes, they're actually known for their conch foods.
And another activity was, I had mentioned in our last video, I was able to walk from Leo's campground all the way down to Mallory Square in Key West, which is about, I believe it was about 3.5 miles. I might be wrong, but somewhere in the realm. It was walkable, even though it was pretty hot. But I saw so many really beautiful sights. So as someone who studied architecture, I'm really interested in all of the historical architecture in Key West. This beautiful church being one of the really just incredible historical spots I saw. So if you're interested in historical architecture, Key West is definitely a great place to explore.
And we walked around, did a little more sightseeing. Here is Ernest Hemingway's home.
Exactly, which we did not actually go in that day. We had other plans, unfortunately, but we've seen a lot of videos. Seems pretty cool. Hopefully the next time we're in the Keys, we'll get a chance to check it out. But it was fun to walk by.
Yeah, all the sights in Key West are beautiful. And right here is the start of the one, which is cool because we're at the very bottom in Key West, and you'll see we eventually make our way up to Bar Harbor, Maine. And some of the best things in Key West and the whole Florida Keys are the beautiful sunset. So here we are driving back to Leo's campground.
So basically, everywhere in the Keys, you're gonna have just stunning views. As you know, video can't even begin to capture it. Just a lot of our time in the Keys, I feel like we spent driving around, just just gawking at all the views. So even just doing self-guided driving tours was a really cool way to spend time and just getting some really great shots.
And now we're back in the RV watching some more RV YouTube videos. Right here we're watching Keep Your Daydream video.
Yeah. So we love hanging out in the RV watching more RV videos. We love Keep Your Daydream like everyone on the planet, I think. So if you guys are watching this, thanks for the inspo.
We're having summer to remember.
We are. And as I also mentioned in our last video for the Keys, Leo's Campground has a really cool dog park, which as dog owners, we are always praying we'll get a campground with a dog park, which you find a lot more with the KOAs. That tends to be standard, but with the private campgrounds, it's hit or miss. So especially after longer drive days or times we've been driving a lot, we really want to let the dogs get out and have some fun. So here they are, busting some zoomies, really enjoying themselves out in the Leo's dog park. So thank you, Leo's people, for making a good spot for our dogs.
And right here is Little White House Subs. We just found it on Yelp, and it was one of the best sandwiches we've ever had.
Really amazing. Walking distance from Mallory Square in, I guess, downtown Key West. Walking distance from Duval Street as well. Little White House Subs. If you haven't tried them, if you're there, if you like good sandwiches, check it out. They're also massive.
Yes.
We were only able to eat half and still had half left over, which were amazing for dinner later that night. Obviously named after the historical landmark site, the Little White House, which was what kind of originally like a winter White House for
Harry Truman
and other presidents as well. So check it out. We're always looking for good food and especially really good sandwiches. Yeah, so one of the fun parts of RV life is always kind of looking for places to do laundry. Again, luckily at Leo's, they did have on-site laundry, which was really clean and great.
And right here is actually a good shot of our dinette and our 16-foot Bambi turned into a little couch or second bed.
Oh yeah, that is a great view. You don't see a lot of those shots. So we did for a few weeks. We turned it into a bed. I think it was easier. At this point, a good point to make is we had been on the road maybe a month or so. We still had way too much stuff. So we were still kind of buried alive thanks to my poor packing skills.
And right now we're eating the rest of our Little White House Subs for dinner.
We did. Thanks, Little White House Subs. Those were awesome. And they kept well.
Yes.
Hard to find.
And after another long day of sightseeing, we're watching more RV YouTube videos. Of course.
Of course. What else is there to do when you're RVing in the evenings when it's still about 7,000 degrees outside and extremely humid? Then watch more inspo for upcoming trips.
Yeah. Here's more beautiful water in Key West, where we actually did some jet skiing.
We did. Which we have no video of, and why is that?
I decided since iPhones are now, quote, waterproof, I could record our journey, and I waterlogged my iPhone.
Right. So there was probably several thousand photos and videos that Dan had filling in the gaps of these videos that we do not have. We can only speak of. So I guess what happens on the jet ski stays on the jet ski.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it was an incredible tour. We got to see the entire island, I guess, of Key West. We did a full loop.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It got a little seedy at some parts. It was very windy and choppy.
Yes. And lots of seaweed.
Lots of seaweed, yeah. So our jet ski actually ended up dying, and we sort of we were with maybe half a dozen people, including the instructor, and they didn't notice at first, so we thought we were going to be stranded at sea. Luckily, he eventually doubled back, and he actually had to dive in and underwater clean out the seaweed. So there's a good tip if you do jet skiing anywhere, but especially in the Keys, be very aware of thick patches of seaweed.
Yes.
So that was fun, but we have no video of it.
And here we are, actually getting one of my favorite things in the world, a lobster pizza.
Right, so I had almost never tried lobster. I think I'd only had it maybe a couple times in my life. I know, shocking, I know. But one of the cool things was trying some lobster pizza in Key West. Amazing.
And another great place we went to was right near Leo's. I forget the name, but I will put it on the screen right here.
Really cool restaurant. It was, what, like 1 block away?
Yeah.
We went there probably 2 or 3 times to eat.
If you go fishing, they will actually cook the fish you bring in.
Oh, yeah.
And we did not actually catch any fish, but our lovely neighbor at Leo's was actually a fisherman. So,
hi, Alan and Holly. If you happen to see this, thank you so much for the fresh fish. It was incredible.
and here we are. We took a little day trip up to Sugarloaf Key and went to another one of Traveling Robert's recommendations, Mangrove Mamas.
Thanks again, Robert, if you do us the honor of watching our video, as you did our first video because you messaged me back. Thanks for all the recommendations. So Mangrove Mamas was really fun, but I really remember it was really quirky, funny, really cool, fun signs, just a fun spot to eat. So if you are in Sugarloaf Key, check it out.
Yeah, and after lunch, we actually drove around some of the Middle Keys, and we actually drove by the new KOA that should be open at this point.
We did. So anyone who's watching this now may already have a chance to stay there or make reservations there. If you have stayed there, let us know in the comments how the new KOA is. I believe the old one had been wiped out by a hurricane, and it was under construction when we were there. So we'd love to know what you think of it. It looked like it was going to be pretty cool, and that's definitely somewhere we might be interested in staying in the future. So let us know.
Yeah, one of our favorite things that we did while we were in the Keys was actually just driving up and down the overseas highway. 7
Mile Bridge. We cannot emphasize it enough. Take a drive on the 7 Mile Bridge, and if you can do it during sunrise or sunset, it will be one of the most beautiful things you have ever seen in your life. It is worth every second.
Yeah, so right here, this is actually the old rail bridge from before the construction of the overseas highway was even done.
It is. It was done back, what was in the 1800s,
Yeah.
and it was built for the train. It was actually a huge deal. You can read the history on it. Really fascinating. And now it's sort of this beautiful ruin. Parts of it have kind of fallen into disrepair, but really beautiful to video and photograph, and just really fun history to learn about.
All right, so in our next episode, we are actually going to be going up to Hollywood, Florida. Yes, more Florida.
We are, and we had a really cool thing that we did in Hollywood, Florida, which we'll be very excited for.
Yes.
So you'll see a significant change in our setup, and what might that be?
You'll just have to tune in to wait and see.
Tune in to our next video, and you'll see we have a really big change that we're very excited for. That was kind of a long time coming. We were so ready. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a, if you didn't like it, feel free to, and we will see you on the road.
We'll see you on the road.